All right. Hello, everybody. That was hell. I have to sort this out now, okay? I booted the whole thing, got booted out, and then I was trying to get myself back in. So, and that if I hadn't gone live that second, it would have cancelled the whole thing. So now I have to work out where the heck the cake's gone. Yeah, I know. I'm so sorry, guys. I was so here and I was so ready and I was feeling all wicked. And then I realised I hadn't pictured a picture of a fox. Wait a minute, I'm just getting rid of this one. Bye bye. Don't get rid of me. Yay! I hadn't put my screw you. Not only am I not going to let you print a fox, I'm going to completely freeze on you and everything else. So I now have my son's phone, much to his distress. There's my picture of a fox. So that will do. But look, hey, I made it on within 10 minutes of scheduling. It boots you off and won't let you do it. So wow, that looks good, doesn't it? Look at that. I've got a crazy cake going on here. Why are you doing that? Don't mess with me. So hey, look, we have a cake and we've got me. Just 2 seconds. Oh. Right. I'm here. My goodness me. Hello, everybody. How are we doing? Hello, Cake. Yeah, Laura, that's Cake. This is Cake. Hello, Michelle. Hello, Maria. Lisa. We've got a picture of a Victoria sponge, not a fox. Hang on. No, I tell you what. Do you know what? I'm not. It might completely screw up. So, yes. God, the notifications are going really quickly now. So, hello, Cheryl. Hello, Wendy. Hello, Diana, Julie, Debs. Doing my best. Okay, I don't know if I'm freezing or not. I'm doing my best. So this is the first time I've done this since like July sometimes. So I'm very out of practice. I do live stuff in groups and stuff, but not just talking to the whole wide world. I know there's only about 10 of you, but it's still the whole wide world to me. Some of you might not be hanging around in the groups, and you might not have been hanging around on the online classes. So this might be the first time you've seen me in a while. Elaine says she's got a massive pile of cake. Oh, Elaine sent me a message saying she hates isomalt. So I will get back to you on that about why you hate isomalt. But I was having a little crisis of cake crisis. Yes, Debs, first live in the new house. This is my dining room. Yeah, so I don't know how this is going to go. Don't know how it's been going so far. Spectacularly well. But there we go. We'll give it a go. So this is quite a cool cake. If I can pull this off, this is quite a cool way of doing it. I just want to, if I dare, trash this back a little bit. Like a whole lot going on. And I'm just going to try not to stick my nose up. Okay. Is that good? Are we there? Have I survived it? This is quite a cool cake, and obviously you want to spend a bit more of an hour on it, but it's really sellable and really quite easy. So that's why I thought I'd show you it. And it's a nice slow way of getting myself back into these lives, because they are scary, you know. They're a bit frightening, especially when I'm not doing well. So your heart goes a bit funny. Hello, Helen, all the way from Australia. Hello, nice to see you. Right, all right. Shall I stop waffling and get on? I've checked my airbrush work, so that's a good start. And I'm working from a phone picture, which I always do. So, should we do it? All right, now I can't get off the chair. I'm getting old. I'm getting really old. Okay, all right, here we go. All right. So you can ask questions, but they're over there, and so I will try and catch them as I go by. Okay, if not, chuck questions on the feed afterwards, and I'll go back after. Chuck questions on the feed now, and I'll go back afterwards and answer everything I can. So, little fox. I can't find my knife that's about that long. I'm trying to do an 8-inch cake with this thing is ridiculous. So I've got a smaller knife, but it'll probably annoy me and I'll end up going on to the big knife. But let's give it a go. Right, with my picture to hand. Okay, so the easiest way to do this. This is really canny, okay? So watch this. I have to work around this blooming phone. If you take, it's not quite a quarter, it's just less. right? If you take your round cake and you cut, so imagine that's a quarter, yeah? So look, if I just whack a line in for a quarter, you're just inside that quarter, okay? If you do a quarter, your head will be too big. If you cut just inside there, like that, and turn it round, you get a curled up fox. I don't know if you believe me, but look at that, dead easy, okay? So this cake turns up from just basically cutting a wedge out like that. We don't believe you. Yeah, you do believe me because you know how this stuff works. So let's just pop this off to one side, just remove his head slightly for a minute. And we need to get some of the weight off this. It's too high, yeah? A lot of people want to do these really, really massive cakes, but actually then you end up with really cartoony sort of overly fat sculpts. So we want to get some of this weight off. Don't we all, ladies, want to get some of this weight off? She says rather personally. I'm just going to carve some of this around. By the way, hello Jane. I saw Jane. Nice to have you with me. Keeping me company. Look, I brought the bin in. I remember the bin, just forgot the sodding picture of fox, hopefully. So I'm going to keep going. I don't want all this weight. He's supposed to be a nice sort of... Well, you don't get fat foxes, really, do you? So I know me putting cake in the bin hurts some of you, but the amount of cake I deal with. Okay, so looking on our picture, we want to slope his head down a bit. So this is where his neck's going to be, so we need it to slope down towards his body. By the way, this cake is about 2 hours old because my little girl won't go for a nap. So it's really, really soft. You don't want to deal with really, really soft cake. You want to leave it 24 hours ideally. But, you know, that's just sloping down towards his head. Give it what? Let's round off this bit. Used to have it on the turntable. The wolf I'm working on at the minute is massive, so it can't have a turntable. And you forget how annoying it is not to have a turntable. Okay, so we've got this is sloping down for his neck. We want to put a back leg in. So your back, say what, let's just drop onto a tiny line. Your back leg, where are you picture? Is going to be in like this somehow. Let me just have a look at that. Okay, so this is the curve of his back leg. So we can cut a valley out here. Just so we get the idea. This is his body coming around, this is his back leg curved up. Now if that's back leg, it's going to have to slope down a bit because you're not going to get like a suddenly big drop off. It's going to slope. Pick a knife, any knife, and we're just going to slope him down a bit. Okay, to give him more of a curved leg. And then his leg comes across here and his tail comes across there. Let's cut that out a bit. So I'm just going to go round. This is like multi-knife game today. I had my regular knife. I wouldn't have to have all these different knives. And I'm just going to do him a little undercut so that his body doesn't end flat to the base. This is his leg. This is where his head is. That's where his back leg comes in. Just checking I'm still on. And then we need to work on his head. So we put his head, and just look at my picture. So I'm just going to sort this head out because see it's rocking backwards and that's kind of like messing with me a little bit. So I'm just going to carve off, look at which way to carve it, just so that it's straight. That's better, isn't it? All right, fox head. Kind of like a dog, but with a much narrower, smaller muzzle. So firstly, we need to get some of this height off. so my hand doesn't get in the way. So let's do that. Let's do that to create his muzzle. It's coming a bit. Okay, round the sides off. And then, oh, it's changed picture. Hang on, where's it gone? And then I'm going to cut in the muzzle. So they've got petite muzzles, okay? If you get too big, that's when you make dogs. So they've got quite petite muzzles on them. They're actually quite petite in general. If you actually put a cat next to a fox, you'll find they're very similar sizes. Foxes aren't nearly as big as people think. They're much more petite. Okay, and then I'll just round up here. And see pop him in there. Can you see him now? Straight away he's there. I don't like this corner here, so I'm just going to round it off so that his leg curves in a bit. So there we go. You've carved a fox dead easy. It's not too much of a hop, skip, and a jump to a basic curled up cat here, guys. So this is a very multifunctional shape to play with. Obviously, if you're doing more advanced, then you would obviously stretch your cat out, and that's because you'd need to work from squares and things. But this is a really, really good fast sculpt. So I'm just going to gather all this cake up and pop it in the bin. How we doing? Oh, you guys chat about the courses you've done. There's so many courses going up at the minute. I'm really struggling to keep my head on it. Got people chatting about the horse class, got people chatting about the Labrador class, got people chatting about the elephant class, all online classes, so nobody gets to breathe on anybody. There is no licking involved. But yeah, the Labrador starts tomorrow, so it'll be really good. As long as my laptop doesn't do that again. Yeah. It's funny because my laptop doesn't tend to annoy me on the group stuff. It's suddenly, as soon as I start doing like a proper live, it goes, no, screw you, I'm not playing. Right, here we go. So now, buttercream. I buttercreamed the inside before just to give myself a little head start, okay? This does not need ganache. You're not doing anything fancy. You're not in any way risking it by, it's not going to fall over. It's not got a structure behind it. It's just so easy. You don't need to ganache it. Ganache, but it's not on every single cake. So I'll have a little breather whilst I put this on and think about not life. So we're going to make sure we've got buttercream right in. Again, this is 2 hour old cake. This doesn't really like me doing this. It's almost still warm. So you will be much easier going if you leave your cakes to cool and set and all that good stuff. Hello, Ben. Hi, Nikki. Okay. Oh, threw the ganache. No, I didn't throw the buttercream. God, ganache on the brain. I'm just trying to be really careful around here because it's so soft. You can all sing amongst yourselves, so sing me a song. All right, let's just do his head quickly. This is tiny. I'm not used to working so small. Let's put that back in. For this sculpt, I'm also going to cover it all in one. So anyone who's on my online classes knows that I normally say, cover your head first and your body separately. But he's so small, I reckon we've got time to work in the head and then do the body at the same time. God, fresh cake and tiny head is a bad combination. Try and sneak that in there. Get some down here. Make sure you leave your groove there. Don't fill it with buttercream because otherwise there'll be nothing to show that you've got that head, that leg curving around. Alright, I'm going to roll on. It will cover. Okay. I'll put that down there. Don't let me tread it, will you? Worst feeling in the world, buttercream between your toes there. Alright, let's see. You can hear talking in the background like the TV's on. Alexa, be quiet. And then what you can probably hear. Just a second. Right. Is that better? Can anybody hear me? No. Okay. I was filming the other night. And I realised my hubby was snoring and I could hear him through the ceiling. So I've got no idea if halfway through the wall tutorial you can hear my hubby snoring. Such is life. Such is my life. Maybe nobody else's life's like this, but my life is what it is. Right, here we go. Yes, better. I am no longer in stereo, stereo. We get this covered. Oh, now I feel like I really am talking to myself without Alexa. Sorry, Alexa. All right, 1 kilogram. Oh, ice cold as well. Brilliant. Okay. I've got a rolling pin. That's good. Can everyone see a fox now? See how quickly is it done? How quickly is that? Now then, what we're going to do first up. Are we going to do that first up? No, I think we'll make it work. Not got a lot of space here, so this is going to get hilarious. All right. Going to go over the whole lot. So you have to, again, talk amongst yourselves for a minute. So I try and get this wide enough. In the space I don't have. Roll this out. What size is the cake, please? It's just a cheeky little 8-inch. Do you know I had to go right to the back of my cupboard to find my 8-inch tins? I'm so used to dealing with the bad boys, up to 12 inches. But instead, this is why I thought we'd start with this one, because it's so simple. First, it was like easing me. Watch me completely screw this up, by the way. The more times I say it's simple, the more chance I'm going to absolutely screw it up. But what I mean is, it's quite a nice cheeky little win because you can spend the time getting it hyper real, detailing. It's quite small, so if you've got clients who are wibble wobbling around about only wanting people and all that stuff, this is a really nice way of doing it. And actually, as long as it's kind of an animal that's got the kind of the body shape that will do it, there's quite a few animals that you pull up like this. Got to be one. You reckon that'll go over? Let's give it a go. I'm just going to widen it a tiny bit so I'm scared. Let's go. What's the worst that can happen? Try not to get the camera. Okay. There you go. I'm being a doozy. Hang on, 2 seconds. Come on, everyone. Tell me what I've forgotten to do. Not going to work, is it? What have I forgotten to do? I've forgotten to put his eyepieces in. So, what brand of fondant am I using? This is just Sainsbury's. Because it's slow drying, and I can put lots of texture in. That said, I'm quite liking Select Island at the moment for a brand. The brands normally annoy me, but having worked with Select Island quite a bit because Carol has it, it's really nice and it's really soft. And I can buy it in bulk. So instead of having to go to Sainsbury's every single week and buying a ton of stuff, I could just order it. So I might be possibly, maybe changing allegiances a little bit. But this stuff's cool. I need to put one in, don't I? Oh, I'm going to be dozy today. Should we do my eyes open or eyes shut? I bet you guys want me to do my eyes open. I haven't got time, really. Let's try. Heck, let's give it a go. Remember, this has been done at massive speed, so there is no reason for you to do it this fast. You can spend your time on it and make it into a thing of beauty. There we go, you have a face now. Right, let's try this again. I'm not too worried about how neat this goes on, actually, because I'll try and get the camera again. Because foxes are quite furry. Alright, let's just pull up a chair. See if I can find myself a fox. So the dodgy bit, obviously, is in here. But if it tears, you can just whack another bit in. Because, say, foxes are very, very furry. So that's finding that bit there. Coming down towards his head. Okay, I'm just, I think, probably going to just tear this in here because I need a split there. And then I'll worry about that in a minute. Alright, so here's his head. There's that line there. And what's going on at the back? Ooh, nice. Let's get this weight off because it's the weight that makes it tear. It's probably the speed that I'm moving the cape, Laura, that's making it blur as I run around it. I'll stop in a second. I just had to have a look around the back to see what I needed to sort out. Alright. So let's get this extra stuff off. So I need to very quickly find a nose. Let me just move this. Okay, let me just grab my picture again. So I'll very, very quickly. No, I'm not going to because I haven't picked out. So you still need your eye sockets in there if you're going to do closed eyes. But instead of opening them up, you're just going to draw a line across. There's one there. I'll do an open-eyed one next week. Let's not be honest with everything today, do we? And also it makes it more accessible for you guys. Anyone who's new to these, doing a little close-eyed guy. Well, let's just dig in a tiny bit so we get a bit more depth in that. And as I say, your fox has got a much more sort of pointy little nose than a dog. So let's just draw a little mouth in, kind of line up, and then we'll give him his nose. His little with a little splits either side of his nose. Right, I'm just going to tidy this up that bit. Might as well. I've just got this on a I think it's, is it a 10 or 12? I don't know, 12-inch acrylic board, 10-inch acrylic board, one or the other. I quite like bringing their jowls out a little bit here, where they would be resting on the floor. Like you get the idea that their sides of their fur are just sort of slumping out a little bit, rather than cutting it completely tight. Okay, so fur-wise, I'm going to come on the nose. There is fur, but it's very, very light. I'm just going to push in there a little bit. You see that? Give him a bit more of a nose line. Very, very light here. And then much, much furrier up here, going down into these points here. And what I've got on that. Luckily, it's the right colour. Again, if you're doing this, you're going to spend a lot more time on the fur. So I'm just going to do some body fur. His spine rotates around like this and comes down to where his tail is, which is down there somewhere. So your body fur is going to radiate. And we'll be able to use the fur texture here to run in there. See, I'm not even worrying about that. And most of you guys, you had that like that, you'd be panicking, but you just whack a piece in and fur it together. Don't have to worry about it at all. So let's just come around here. So Marina's asking what this tool are. These are Sculpey tools. They're epic. They've got ball tools on one end and then colour shapers on the other. I'm just doing this as quickly as I can. Again, the longer you spend on fur, the better it's going to look. So I'm going to put a bit more fur around his ruff as well. It's just sinking a bit too much for my liking. So we just finished the fur off here. The reason why I'm doing this first is because your sugar paste is drying on you all the time. So you want to get your fur done, especially as we've got the body covered at the same time here as the head. You want to get your fur done as quickly as possible. So I'm rotating round with the fur. I'm not cross-hatching at all. You can flick it out at the bottom. Let's just finish up around there. I'm not going to worry too much about what's going on at the back because I can't see it at the moment. Ooh, speedy, speedy, speedy. Ah, cross hatch. Okay, let's bring a piece around here. If you're struggling with a blend, a little bit of water goes a long way. But just be careful if you are going to use water, just be careful that you should let it dry before you airbrush because the water can mess up your airbrush quite a lot. Says she, using water and imminently about to airbrush, but there we go. Oh, sorry, caught your eye. So let's just blend that through that. They're got quite fluffy tummies, so you can pull it out here, inside there. We're gonna have his tail coming across the front here, making sure that nice leg groove. Leg groove looks cool, doesn't it? Like makes a big difference. Just gonna chuck a bit down there. Blend it through. So this is the big ball tool, and it's just got a bigger silicone on the back. These aren't cake tools, guys. That may be why, if you haven't seen them before, that's probably why. So here, I'm going to start really layering in that fur. All right, now let's put a light layer, just to bring up his ruff a bit more. We're going to lie that in the back, blend it into the front, and then floof it up. Floof it is a technical term. You only learn that one when you go to cake decorating school. Just bringing that fluff in there. So remember, this is just a tiny little 8-inch cake. It's nothing fancy. 20 centimeter cake tin, probably the first one that everyone ever buys. And just blending that through. I'm going back and then forward a bit, back and then forward a bit. All right, almost done there. So let me just cut that back. I haven't really furred the back up, but it's just tied against me. So let's just cut around the back here. Obviously, if you're doing this at home, you could do them on a nice kind of like wooden board, like he was curled up in someone's shed. Or you could do it on like an earthy ground. Quite like doing this though, look, you can pull the fur out. So he looks like he's properly sat. He just doesn't end all tidy, you know, because animals aren't tidy. This idea that you have to do your cake tidy is rubbish. Not a wedding cake. They have to be tidy. This guy doesn't. So I like that. You see that where you've got the slight, just where his fur is just hitting the ground. Let's put this little mouthpiece back in again because I've lost it somewhere along the line. Just check we haven't knocked that out. Okay, so he is missing 2 things. One we can do straight away. Good evening, Kathy. Kathy commented on a very, very, very rude picture earlier that came off on my news feed. Thanks, Kathy. Right, foxtail. What time is it? 1:45. Oh, I've got a pour on this cake. I don't know whether to do it or not. I've still got airbrushing as well. So look, here we go. Let's plunk this on. So we have to go either side of his face. So all we're going to do is cut in. Foxes have got massive tails. And then it comes out here somewhere. But on my picture, he's got a paw in the way. How do you feel about paw? That's not quite fluffy enough, so let's just flute it a bit. No, hang on. Ears and a tail. Hi, Debbie. Debbie's found us. Yeah, these if you guys want another one of these, then they're on my proper page, which is why they're nervy, because, you know, sensible people hang out on my proper page. People in my groups know I'm loopy, so they don't care. All right, here we go. Long floof, okay? Tails of the, so the longer you drag, the longer your fur is going to look, and like the floofier your fur is going to look. The shorter you drag, the more close your fur is going to look. So we're trying to get his tail looking proper. God, I was almost going to use the word lush, which I hate. But my lovely Jen, my VA, the star of my life, uses the word lush all the time. Oh, and it almost slipped out. We want a proper, fluffy, long tail. I'm going to try not to cut his face up there. Just keep dragging it. Long sweeps and you'll get a really nice tail coming on. So, getting there, aren't we? Right, ears, ears. Little foxy ears. Again, there's a lot more you can do with fox ears. You can make them all fluffy inside and stuff, but let's just give it a go. So, Marina. The Labrador is one of my online classes, and with each online class, I do a set of 4 lives, and they run weekly in a private group. And what I do is I go through the really hard bits. So the online class is all filmed online, and you can watch it back whenever you're around. But I feel like I still want to be able to connect with people. So by doing the live work, I like go through the face sculpt again, and I go through the airbrush again. And I go through all the bits and bobs that people might find tricky on the video and be frustrated that they can't reach out to me and say, Hannah, what the heck are you doing? So by having groups with each online class, it means that people can actually talk to me and say, this didn't work for me, why not? Or I can't get that product because I live in Mongolia, what can I use? I just wanted to make sure that even though I was teaching online, I wasn't losing the point where I was actually teaching and just becoming like a, well, you know, like an automated parrot or something. So that's why all of my online classes have active group work involved with them. I'm making an ear, by the way. Annette is my ex now. Ooh, my ex-cake lady. She used to come and hang out with me on a Thursday and bake all my client cakes. We gossiped more than we worked, to be fair, but there we go. We did some work sometimes, but we've moved now, so she's stuck up there, and I'm all the way down here, and I no longer have a baking lady, which makes me sad. Right, fox ears. In my picture, he's got his ears down. I'm just seeing if there's a slightly better picture. They look a bit big, don't they? I don't think you want them that chunky. So I just cut, this is flower paste. No, it's not, it's modelling paste. If you're modelling flowers, you can use it. Okay, hang on, I'll show you on that one. There we go, that's more sensible, isn't it? Okay, so I'm just gonna put a cocktail stick in some water, pop that up there. I'm going to thread it through the little bit and put some texture through the middle. If I was doing this properly and I had lots of time, then I would add sugar paste and details and all those good things just to make it, because if you look at your foxes, they're very, very fluffy, aren't they? Gorgeous. But this is just a quick play, really. If anything, it shows you how fast you can do this stuff. I just want a decent mix to try and work out where these ears are going to go. Get it wrong, you look like Mickey Mouse. Something like that. Laura Annette, she doesn't live in Hemel. She lives in Shenley, which is about 15 minutes from Hemel. Sorry, I just told you all Annette lives. Her address is, right. She's lovely, I love Annette. And she's just had her knee replaced, so she's not allowed to do anything and she has to behave. I don't think she's enjoying it very much. Right, there's one ear. Actually, I got about 20 minutes left because I was 15 minutes wrong. Put the other ear in. So cocktail stick, you've got to leave your middle bit thicker in order to get the cocktail stick up without it busting down the back. So you can thin your edges out, a bit like you do flowers, but you want to leave your bit in the middle thicker. And I'll put some more floof in. Again, if I was doing this properly, I'd layer up sugar paste on the inside to bring out the floof. The word of the night is floof, by the way. I've said it about 1 million times. God, I'll try and get this right. They're too big, aren't they? I don't know if that is. Wait a minute. Having ear surgery going on here. There are foxes who've got those ears, aren't they? They're amazing. They've got ridiculous ears. There we go. Is that look better? I don't have a Simon. That will make no sense to any. That won't make any sense to anyone who's not on the Sugar and Crumbs online classes. I don't have a Simon. Just me. I got one bigger than the other. Is that bothering anybody? Should we turn one slightly? If you can't get your ears to match, just turn one slightly. So that, because, you know, animals don't have their ears facing the same way, do they? Not wild animals. They've always got one off listening for something and then one the other way listening for something, don't they? So you can spend a lot of time messing with ears, just to warn you. Let me just have a look. I'm just seeing what's going on here. Okay, right, let's do that. The problem with this is I want to mess and time isn't against me, but I'm going to do this. It's important. I want to bring out a bit more fluff here. I'm going to put a piece in there and make it slightly triangular. Can you see that? And I'm going to do the same on the other side. And then if I get my hand behind it, I can give them a bit more of a foxy kind of floof going on. Floof 800 times said in 10 minutes. Just wanted to fox his face up a little bit more. That's better. I've got to try and sneak one on the inside here too. No, I've got space on the inside. Get this in. Okay. So if I've got that in, I'm just giving him extra fluff there. Get in. And then I've got airbrushing. You all got airbrushes? Anyone not got an airbrush? If not, why not? Yeah, I could just do an Arctic Fox and go, no, I am home. I could just do an Arctic Fox and stop. But come on, you're all waiting to see me screw up the airbrush. I know it. That's better, isn't it? It's got a bit more life to it. Do you want to pour or do a very, very, very quick pour? I don't know what a Colosseum... Oh, it's a Colosseum airbrush, Helen. I'm thinking it's some Australian slang for I don't know what. Wait a minute. I'm trying to find a picture. All right, I'll do a tiny little pour in speed. Where are you? Trust me, trying to pour. Where's the picture? Sorry, I've talked about myself again. All right. Let's just bend it over. Do another little fiddle around with it. There we go. Look, he's got a little pour. Okay, you get airbrush it. Airbrush. Yeah. So what is a top end? A really top end gun. So if you're starting out, you might not be able to budget for one. So there's plenty of middle of the road ones, but then when you fall in love with it, become completely addicted and want to airbrush everything that moves, including your cat, real cat, then have a look at eye waters. I'm just going to move all this icing out of the way because I'm about to get airbrushy. So there we go. Look, you've got a whole cake airbrush, sculpted, carved, excellent, in 40 minutes. Yes, so although I'm messing around with airbrushes, as most of my students who know, you can very much dust this stuff. If you're going to do a fox and you haven't got an airbrush and you want to dust it, pre-colouring to kind of the base orange, and then you can dust in the lighter and the darker bits from there. So you don't have to airbrush. You can get very, very far with dusting. But I still want you to get addicted enough to get an airbrush eventually. You know, just putting the cards on the table. Right, I'm going to airbrush him, so I'm just checking bits that I'm relatively happy for a 1 hour sculpt. Okay. Right, leave my picture. Wolves up. Wolves. Oh, come on. Foxes, I'm not. Hello, open up. Are not quite as orange as people think. And they've got a lot more brown and a lot more white in them. So I'll do what I can given our time scale. So, hello, Tony. Another Aussie. What time is it over there? I figured it would be like really late, but you both are. Oh, pop into the shop. So is it early? Backwards. Right, let's airbrush him. I pre-coloured some colour very quickly, so I'm not sure how perfect it's going to be, but I'll give it a go. So this is my airbrush. This is an Iwata Silver Jet, and I've got my HPC gun on it, which is playing nicely. Let's give it a go. I normally stand up to airbrush. In fact, I will stand up to airbrush. It's weirding me out there. Got my picture. I'm going to just mess around with his ears again. Sorry. Let's have a go. So I'm going nice and gently. You are in charge of the airbrush. This is what people seem to forget. They let the airbrush run away with them, and they forget that they're the boss, not the airbrush. And I'm going to be turning my turntable all the time. But I'm going to try and leave some white. The brown comes in around here. Let's sort this hair out. You have to forgive some of the bits. I think I've got a slightly better picture. It's very, very yellow, this one. Maybe. I'm going to change my colour in a minute. I'm going to put some of this on and change it. Tip of his tail is going to be white as well, isn't it? Down to bits that I didn't do. Back it is. I'm just going to bin this colour off a minute. Too day glow. Here we go. See if this will calm it down a bit. This is autumn gold. Let me just have a look at it. Yeah. So I'm going to do autumn gold with a splash of brown through. See if I can just tone this down a bit. So it's much browner. Around the back here. And then it's got a lot of yellow running through its face. Three minutes pause. Right, so it's time for brown now. I'll try and darken down a bit. You see I'm going down the colours. Ooh, battery's over. Getting in with shading will be now. Right, just going to let that dry for 2 seconds. And we'll put a tiniest bit of black on. 3 seconds. Right, let's just put a little tiny bit of black running down. Ooh. Hang on, let me just clear this out. picture. Now you have to be careful with the black. Use it more of a grey. Got to the ears. And then some just speckling around the okay. Wow! So there is a little fast airbrush. Now I'm just going to give it a couple of seconds to dry it up before I start messing around with dust and things, because dust over wet airbrush will it will just run. So let's have a look at, we've got questions. Yes, so this is I think quite new, or else I've been asleep, possibly both. Autumn Gold Sugar Flare Gel is my favourite colour ever. I use it for a lot of stuff. So suddenly finally doing airbrush colour is absolutely amazing. So it's a really, really nice warm amber, which I think you can see when I first put the orange on, it was just way too bright, too day glow, and I was not happy with it. So here it's just taken that edge off, and it's a much more natural colour now. Yeah, absolutely, I love it, absolutely love it. I'd say I haven't seen it around, so I think it must be something new they're doing, which is I think it's fab. So yeah, and I just put a bit of brown with it just to kind of warm it up a bit more, so it wasn't coming up too yellow. Look, I'm now filthy. So what else have we got? Oh, so Marina, I started these off last March on the first lockdown, just as a way to kind of really stay connected with everyone in the cake world, because suddenly all the work had stopped, all the orders had stopped, everything was just, we were all just left to our own devices thinking too much. I was like, right, I'm going to do these. And so I didn't on the November one because I was so busy, but now I've got a bit more time. I was like, oh, come on then. So we'll do these for the next, well, till February half term, and then we'll see where we're all at. I'll do them as long as I can, as long as you guys are interested in them, of course. Doesn't bother me. I'm looking for a paintbrush, which is right in front of me. Right, so all I want to do now is dust in a little bit around his eyes. So I've now got some brown petal dust. And I'm hoping it's dry enough. Ideally, obviously, you want to make sure this is dry. I just want to bring out those sleepy eyes a bit more. I'm a bit worried about it being wet, but, you know, let's go for it. Okay, so I'm just dusting in. You could technically do this on your airbrush, but you'd have to have some pretty good precision going on. So this is the final thing I'm doing. I'm just going to dust in his little sleepy eyes. So this is brown dust, it's not black. I don't use a lot of black, I try and stay away from it. Because nature isn't really black, is it? It's a lot of, it's not, people are too fond of black when in their work, and I think it can make things look quite harsh and cartoony, so I try and stick to the brown, or at very worst, a little bit of brown dust and a little bit of black dust together. And that's it. So, and then also, this little paw that I did is going to need some dusting in. So if you just put your dust over, you'll pick up the little, I don't know, little pads. What are they called? Toe beans is what I'd call them, but they've probably got a correct name. And also, I've never met an animal with a clean foot, so I will always dust in their feet. And then one last thing, it's got under his mouth, and I didn't put any black extra on my plate, so let me see how well I can do this with dusting water. Normally, I do this with a little bit of black extra, but let's see if I can get it to hold. He's going to need his little nose doing. Now, always err on the side of caution with their noses, okay? I have this a lot with classes, a lot of my online classes. Is make the nose too small. Terry says she has clean feet. Terry, are you an animal? Probably. I don't have clean feet. How do you have clean feet? Mine are always covered in airbrush where I've walked in it. I never wear shoes or socks. I'm a barefoot kind of girl. Sorry, I've lost the plot completely there. So back to your nose, cover it and make it smaller first. You can always line it and make it bigger, but if you put a big splat of black on and then decide that it's too big, you're a bit stuck. So always err on the side of caution with noses, paint them in small, and then decide if it needs to get a bit wider, you can do it, but bit by bit by bit. You know, black is the scariest thing you can put on a cake. So we're going to do it gently, 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 gently. Okay. And then I'm going to put just the smallest amount of brown running off the back edge, just so that it softens it in, so it's not quite a harsh edge where it ends on his nose. Again, if you look at your photos, you'll see that their noses don't just suddenly stop. They blend back into their fur. Like that. I'm thinking there was something else I was going to do, but I can't think what it was. Oh, yeah, I know. Ooh. Oh, look, that was so scary. That was almost ruined it because I got wet paint on there and I went to dust in his face. So one more thing I wanted to do. If you look at your fox, you'll find he's got quite a lot of grizzling. And what that means to me is he's got grey and white over his back. So I would come in with, and this is white extra. What the heck do they call it? Titanium. Oh, super white. That's it, not white extra. And I would be coming in and painting in some grizzling, sort of greying white bits on here. Now, if you put this on a, well, I don't know, you could put it in a little, in a cardboard box. You could say put it on a wooden base. You could put it in a forest with like lots and lots of leaves. You could airbrush some wafer paper and have it like he's nesting in straw and stuff, and you have an incredibly beautiful little cake that suits small gatherings. That's taking you no more than an hour to me, or, you know, a couple of hours at best. Looks on point, doesn't need to cost them a fortune, and is a really, really nice cake. And I tell you what, you could sell these all day because they're beautiful, but they're still affordable. So if I lift him up in a minute, you'll show. And obviously you can do eyes open. We'll save that for another day because I just wanted to start a bit slow. So I'm probably quite good given that my laptop didn't be off. But you can do these with the eyes open, just easily. But again, eyes shut, looks really cute, little sleepy fox, saves you time, makes it affordable. So you can do quite an affordable cake, make it look a bomb, be interesting, not screw up your portfolio because you've put some little rubbishy thing in, but still made something that's quite affordable. So if I now lift that up, hopefully you can see him. Cute, the button, isn't he? And that is 1 hour on the dot. So there we go. So that is your little curled up fox. 1 hour. Little fast asleep. With more time, you know, colours, but realistically, it's such an easy cake. And it's literally all about taking your round cake and taking the wedge out of the corner, out the side to make a corner that's slightly smaller. If you wouldn't want it any bigger than this, the exact quarter head would be a lot bigger. So you want to just come inside that quarter. So mark your and come in like a centimetre on each side. Your is that one frozen now? I know. So that so you don't get your head too big. Right, what do I call affordable? 100 quid? I wouldn't do it for any less than 100 quid. I really wouldn't. It's just not worth it. You know, your sofa is worth more than 100 quid. As in, what I mean is time on your sofa. So, all right, we'll end on that then. So your time is actually valuable, as in your time doing nothing, as in your time with your family, your time resting, your time sat on the sofa, your time doing whatever needs to be done has a value. And people think that your personal time, your family time is worth nothing. And therefore they'll do cakes for any money. But actually there is a point where it is more valuable to you and your health and your family to not take on the work. So if they're not willing to pay 100 quid, then I would say it's not really worth your time, and you can do other things more importantly. Even if you spend that time on marketing, or you spend that time on advertising, or you spend that time doing a cake tutorial or whatever, actually it's worth more than just killing yourself for someone who doesn't think that you're worth anything. So if you value yourself, they're going to start to value you. So nothing less than 100, boys and girls. And we have survived. I've survived the first one of these crazy things. I will try next week to remember. I took out the stuff early. No, Terry, I don't want to make you a cake for £100. I don't make cakes anymore. You can't get me to make them. Right, yeah, guys. So, does anyone remember the name of my group? What is it called? The Cake Illusionist Sculpting Community, Sculpting School Community. Don't know, useless at this stuff, aren't I? If you're not in the group, I know most of you are, I recognise all your names and stuff, but if you're not in the group, I'll whack the link of the group up. And then when you make these, come on the group and show me, because it'd be really nice to see what people are making out of these things, and if they're finding them value. And I will see you, if you'll have me, if you want me back, give me a shout, let me know. I don't want to waste anybody's time. So if you want these back, and yeah, the Cake Illusionist Sculpt, is it called the Cake Illusionist Sculpting Club? No, it's not. Isn't that Sugar and Crumbs one? I don't know. Just come and find me. I'm everywhere. And if you want me, then please let me know. Put me a comment on and stuff. Let me know that you want me to come back. And also give me ideas, because I have to figure out what to do each week and I haven't got much brain time. So let me know what you want me to sculpt. I only got an hour, so no ideas of grandeur, please. And I will see you next Sunday evening. And Labrador guys, I will see you tomorrow evening. So if you're in the Labrador group, you need to be here tomorrow evening, and we will do Labrador faces and sculpts and Labradors up and get chatting about our online Labrador class. And then the elephant guys, you've got another week, and then we'll be on live. Yes. Okay, so I'll whack the link up here to get onto the community group, and then I want to see you making some foxes. And I say you can very easily jump to a cold up cat from this as well. So I will leave you guys with that. I'll come on the comments in a minute when I've shut down, and if anyone's got any questions, I'll scroll back and answer. And if not, I will see you some point online. Have a good evening. Bye.